I decided to edit my photo to make it to a poster using Photoshop. I did this on the school computers as they have the correct software. What I did, I opened my picture that I'd taken in the studio by selecting it and choosing Open with Photoshop. Once I'd opened it in Photoshop, since I had skills myself, I knew how to use Photoshop through photography that I do at school. So to me it was quite easy to start editing my photo. I knew exactly where to begin. So I clicked on the background layer that you can see here, and I dragged it down to the icon shown and copied it so that I had an extra layer to add text if I wanted to, which I was going to do later. I then selected the pop-up menu from this icon again and selected curves, which this setting allows me to change the contrast and lighting within the picture. So what I did on it, I created a contrasting S shape from the top to the bottom to give it the effect of dark shadowing, but also lighten and highlight the areas that were light within the picture. And I did this until I felt that it had the correct show that I wanted it, the correct finish that I wanted it to, which was to be kind of like a glowy effect, kind of like mysterious and dark, which I think did actually turn out quite well because of the dark shadowing that's seen on Rosie's face and how she's half in shadow and half not. And the same on Jake, how he's majority in light, but then there is a darker side to him which shows a split personality. And by having Rosie's red lips exaggerated and her red nails in the light, it kind of exaggerates her and provokes her femme fatale character within the film. Next, what I did is I selected Edit, Preferences, and then went to General, and then on the menu you can see here I chose the option which would enable me to use the scroll wheel within Photoshop, which basically means that I could zoom in and out of the picture to see the details that I'd done, to see if I wanted to change any bits and make it clearer or whatever. And then next I decided that I was happy with the basics of the picture and wanted to add in text, so I selected the text button, which is shown here, and I just clicked near the bottom of the picture and I added in the text that was at the bottom that you usually see at the bottom of posters, talking about the distribution, production and the rights reserved for the film and who made it and who directed it and stuff. So I added all that in. I decided to have it in white because I thought it contrasted the bottom of the poster from where he's got dark jumper on and Rosie's got like a greyish black and white jumper on, so it stood out quite well. Yeah, after I did this I then rearranged it all around so that it was all in different lines and stuff, so it wasn't all just 2 lines. I put it in 3 lines and they were all kind of staggered to have of a better effect on the poster. Next, what I did, I added the title of the film, The Unconventional Truth, and I used the same font as I did for the layering effect underneath it, but what I did, I had it in red, which kind of I felt worked really well because it went with the red nails and the red lips that are in the picture, and also helped to stand out to make sure that that's the main part of the film, so it draws people in immediately and like connotates the idea of passion, death, danger and romance, which is everything that our film involves. I decided to position it on the right hand side near the bottom because at the top it didn't fit properly because it kind of took half of Jake's head off, but then when I decided to give it a go and put the unconventional bit and the truth underneath, but I didn't really feel like this had the right effect, so I wanted to have it all in one line so it kind of stood out more, so I decided to have it along the bottom. But I actually think overall I did actually work really well because it stands out against their jumpers and it works well being at the bottom because then it links to the coming soon and helps to draw the attention to the red nails and red lips of Rosie and her character of Scarlett. The font I actually used was called Tarjan Pro, which you can see I selected here, and I decided to have it in bold. I chose this text because I like the way it's kind of like a typewritery effect, but also it looks like kind of like a love letter and like kind of Shakespearean, and I like the way the letters are quite wide but not too wide so that it makes it spaced out, and how they're kind of not too bold so it looks too like kind of childlike. So I think generally it worked really well, and it kind of helps to link back to the genre of the film that is kind of quite sophisticated and quite like a suave, different neo-noir and film noir. Next what I did is I used the same tool again to do and create a different layer to do the film rolls at the top with the names of the actors who were in our film. So what I did, I wrote down all of their names and I I put their first names in red and their surnames that are underneath, I put them in white. I wanted to do this because I wanted to show the contrast between the two characters, and how they kind of change and evolve throughout the film. For example, like Rosie, she starts off being this innocent young girl who is kind of like a stereotypical daddy's girl, and she will do anything to please everyone. She's very sweet. Whereas near the end of the film, we see how she becomes corrupt, and she's twisted, and there's a different turn of events that help see her evolve as a character, and we see a complete change at the end when we see her kill her father, which is a very unexpected turn within the film. And I feel that it linked back to the character of Jake as well, as he kind of starts out quite a troubled teenager. Like, he's lost his dad, he's been murdered, and he's quite troubled and wants to find out the truth of what happened, and we expect him to be this main cause of corruption, yet towards the end of the film we see how he kind of like backtracks against his previous persona, and he kind of becomes more relaxed about it, and we see how he kind of matures as the film goes on and becomes a more grown-up figure. Next, I added in the slogan, which is "Truth was in his heart, tragedy was in her mind." I put this in white because I wanted to show the kind of the purity behind it, like how everything starts off so pure and innocent, yet the unconventional truth being in red, which is directly underneath, it shows how that the truth that's in white at the top actually kind of like changes in the film and has more of a troubled effect when, as the plot line kind of evolves and the film begins to reach its climax towards the end. Next, what I did, I used a text tool again, and I just added in a few quotes that I made up myself from Daily Mail and Empire magazine online. I added these in as I thought it would kind of draw people into wanting to go and see the film, as they would see critics' choice kind of captions and what they thought of the film, and if they've been rated well, this kind of makes the audience want to go and see it more when they're looking at the poster. I was going to add, after I'd done this and completed all of this, I added in the coming soon, which you can see at the bottom. I put this in white because I wanted to show the purity, and I didn't want to take away from the title because I tried it in red but it didn't work too well because it kind of looked too much with the red. I didn't want to overdo it and overpower it, so I think by putting it in white it actually worked quite well and contrast well again. After this, I was going to put in a star rating from a magazine, and I got the image off Google and I saved it and then opened it again into Photoshop. But when doing this, when testing it out, I kind of think it kind of took away from the sophistication of the poster and didn't make it look particularly as neat and as well finished as I wanted it to be, so I decided to take those away and leave it as it was. But overall, this is my finished poster, well, my first attempt of one of my finished posters, and I'm actually really happy with the outcome because I like the way that the title comes across and the fonts that I've used. I think the fonts against the colours that I've used kind of represent the idea of film noir and various stereotypical conventions of it, and I think overall it gives off the effect that I was aiming for, and I like the transformation you can see from the original picture to the poster itself. I think really stands out and how far my skills and the film has come along.